into the worldwide perspective, factoring has been introduced worldwide approximately 40 years back. But in Pakistan, factoring is quite relatively new. We have launched factoring concept in Pakistan in the year 2006, and since then we are trying to establish this concept, and we have got a very good response from the exporters, and we believe that it was quite late, but it is right in time that they have come to know about these services through which they can save their invoices.
That the major issue with the buyers was that they were not provided credit terms, which include secure invoices, invoice receivables, and immediate liquidity.
I came to know a company called DS Concept, which was a German-based company running in Pakistan. So we managed to get a very good limit from them, which was fast, which had no collateral.
The response of the exporters towards DS Concept Factoring has been a great response, I would say, because as I explained earlier, that in the last 5 years, and they got to know the advantages of the factoring services, and day by day there is an increased response of the exporter towards the factoring services. Now all the exporters who are offering credit terms to their buyers, they are now coming to DS Concept for the security and financing.
Quite a good limit with the local banks and with quite a bit of property that was mortgaged with them. But in 2008, when all the financial conditions for Pakistan and all of the world gone bad, and so did the Pakistani banks, they got conservative and they reduced the limits or took back the limits, so which landed us in pretty hot waters.
Services of DS Concept, you can see that DS Concept Factoring not only provides immediate post-shipment financing in the form of foreign exchange, but also provides security of the invoices.
Securities which are present are not much capable in modern scenario, because at that moment in international market and in national market there is much bad timings, and there are much problems which the markets are facing. So there is a lot of need. There has to be much securities, much more trade securities, and factoring is the much better option for it.
Well, if you compare the factoring services with the conventional financing system of international trade offered by the local banks or banks worldwide, there is a great difference in that, because the local banks, they can provide the financing to the exporter, but they cannot cover the invoice as they don't have any insurance backup. So that means if the exporter sends the invoices on the credit terms through the local banks, then the exporter can of course get the money, they can get the invoices discount through the local banks, but there is no guarantee that if they don't get the money from their buyers, then the local banks actually they ask them to give the money back to the local banks.
Well, while dealing with the DS Concept, one of the biggest advantages is their quickness in the delivery of the object. No need to worry about the follow-ups and things like that, because their team, particularly in Pakistan, which I have felt is more like business-minded, and they know how the time, the cruciality of the time is important. They deliver whatever they say in time.
DS Concept services are quite different from banks and insurance companies. The first major difference is that we provide non-recourse financing, whereas